Okay, so we're going to get into finding solutions. Now, for the past year, we have been learning to factor trinomials, difference of squares, etc. But we really haven't said why we're doing it. So we're going to go back a little bit. Finding the solutions, we're going to start with regular algebra problems. Now, with algebra, we're always working backwards. Instead of BEDMAS, we're going SAMDEB. So we always start with adding, subtracting. So the first one, we start with the adding, subtracting. We do the opposite. We do it to both sides. And then we go to the next step. We're going to divide by 7. And we get our answer. We find the solution by using algebra. This one's a little more complicated, but we start with adding, subtracting. Now, I always like to take to the denominator first. The opposite is multiplication, times by 9, then divide by 2. So we've got the first two. Again, you could do both. You could do multiply by 9 halves, or multiply by 9, then divide by 2. This one's a little harder, but again, we're always starting with adding, subtracting. We have a square and a multiplication. Multiplication comes before exponents. Divide by 3. And then the opposite of a square is square root. And we actually get two answers. The square root is positive or negative 5. So you'll notice that with the algebra problems, we have a single x, there's no exponent, we get one answer. Single x, one answer. When we get into x squared, we could actually get two answers. Not always, but a lot of the times. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with questions with have x squared. We're going to factor. So the key thing that we need to know is if we have two things multiplied together that get 0, there's only two possible options. Either a equals 0 or b equals 0. One of them has to be true. Could be both of them, but at least one of them. So here we have two binomials multiplied together equals 0. So one of these has to end up being 0. So the first option, x plus 7 equals 0. Subtract 7 from both sides. So x could be negative 7. If we plug that in, we'll get 0. Or the other option is x minus 5 equals 0. So we factored this. We have two different x's, two different binomials. We have two different solutions. That's where we're going with this. If there's a single x, one solution. In this case, this would multiply to x squared, two solutions. Two binomial factors, two solutions. So let's try this one. It's in trinomial form. So first step is factor it. So negative 6, negative 7. So we can take the first one, move the 6 over, and just notice it flips. It was minus 6 in the factor, but the solution is positive 6. I'm going to skip the step. I know it's going to be x equals positive 7. Those are my two answers. So I factor it. I get the two binomials. Each one gives me one solution. I just have to do that extra step. So x squared, we factor it, two solutions. Now, a key thing with these is we have to do a little algebra as well. Notice we've got x squared on both sides. The key thing with any of these x squared ones, we have to push everything over, and we need to get that equals 0. Equals 0. So I'm going to subtract minus x squared. I'm going to subtract 7x. And I'm going to add 35. There's no constant on this side. So hopefully you know how to do factoring with the hard trinomials, the numbers in front of x squared. I'm just going to start with that. Okay, so we get the two factors. This one's nice and easy. It's going to be x equals 5. Remember, it's minus 5 here, but we flip it over. This one has the constant. We have to do the extra work. I'm going to move the 7 over. It becomes positive. Then divide by 2. So this one is just nice and easy. Negative 5 becomes positive 5. This one, it becomes positive, but positive 7 over 2. That coefficient becomes the denominator. So we still get two answers, except with the hard trinomials, we end up with one or both being fractions. So factor it. Each one gives you a solution. Sometimes it's the same solution, but a lot of times that you have two different solutions. Last one, it's a binomial. It's not a difference of squares. GCF. And here's the tricky part. This is one of our solutions, but there's no constant inside. There's no binomial. So it's just x equals 0. And that's the one that messes everybody up. If there's a GCF, x equals 0. Even if there was a number, if there was a 3 here, 3x equals 0, the solution is still x equals 0. So we get two solutions. So the whole section is about finding the answers. If they're single x, there's no exponent, we're going to get one answer. As soon as we get x squareds, we could get two answers. And factor it, find each answer.